Yeah, I mean, to me, challenges cannot take that long. That's it ruins the flow of the game. I get it. It's early in the year. The refs want to make the right call. We can't sit there for 2.5, 3 minutes and on an obvious hit out of bounds off of them and still not know the call.
Caitlyn Clark just wanted to play basketball, but apparently she accidentally signed up for WrestleMania. WNBA edition. From getting smacked like it's dodgeball season to refs squinting like they left their glasses at home, the madness is real. Did someone forget to tell the officials the game wasn't tag? You're it? Buckle up because we're diving into the chaos, confusion, and comedy that is Caitlyn versus the refs, and trust us, you won't believe these calls.
The offensive fouls are definitely surprising at times. I feel like I do get help.
She sold this flop perfectly. I gotta tip my hat to it. Had her hand on her chest. Most people who flop, they always do the little face thing. And she sold it perfectly. I gotta give it to her. Here's like a play from a different game. Watch Caitlyn's reaction. She wanted to really call out the refs.
Oh, Caitlyn Clark, America's basketball sweetheart, the walking bucket, the long-range assassin, the Midwestern sniper who pulled up from the parking lot and still managed to hit net while her defender was ordering popcorn. You'd think this kind of transcendent generational talent would be met with, oh, I don't know, competent officiating? But no. Instead, she walked into the WNBA and apparently entered a reffing twilight zone.
After watching tonight's Chicago Sky and Indiana Fever game, I think it's safe to say we can all agree that Caitlyn Clark is the Rookie of the Year. I know some people still had a little bit of doubt as to whether or not it should be a co-Rookie of the Year because, look, Angel Reese has been putting up some crazy numbers. Obviously, tonight she had another double-double, 23 for the season, most in WNBA history for a rookie. But the race is over. Beginning of the season, before the All-Star break, the Olympic break, I should say, it was kind of neck and neck, and I would have given them like a tie.
I think it's different this time around because she's like one of the greatest we've ever seen. You know what I mean? Like she's like Steph Curry out there, bro.
Exactly.
Just pulling up from anywhere, getting any type of
And
bucket.
bro, I think in a couple of years she gonna figure it out, and she gonna be a monster.
And when she get a little bit more weight on her
Yeah,
too,
because like even like Steph Curry, it took him a couple of years to get to adjust to the physicality of the NBA.
Yeah.
But when he did, though, he was like, all right, nah,
she gonna be cooking.
I can still shoot.
She gonna be cooking.
I mean,
She's already getting.
Now, let's talk about these referees. These refs are out here with the confidence of a neurosurgeon and the vision of a bat in a blackout. They're calling games like they got dared to press buttons at random. Watching them ref is like watching someone try to read Braille with oven mitts on. It's less about calling the rules and more about generating chaos like it's an avant-garde art piece.
Can I say this? The Atlanta Dream, not quite Nate Tibbetts. If you guys know anything, like Nate Tibbetts, literally like he would throw 17 different looks at Caitlyn per quarter. He would throw a different look at Caitlyn every single possession.
And Caitlyn? Caitlyn is doing her best to play basketball while these referees are busy starring in their own off-Broadway production of Oops, All Fouls. You'd think the league would want to protect the face of its future. Nope. Instead, she's getting tossed around like a beach ball at a summer concert while the refs stare into space like they're meditating in a lavender field.
I don't know if the refs are trying to rig the game. I think they're just awful. Like, the Fever have gotten a couple of bad calls their way, but like, the Fever have all 3 challenges were terrible calls.
Imagine driving to the basket, getting full-on tackled like it's Sunday Night Football, and looking up to see a ref chewing gum and blinking slowly like you just interrupted their nap. Meanwhile, some opposing player breathes in the general direction of Caitlyn, and suddenly the whistle goes off like someone just committed a felony. The refs are giving vibes-based officiating. One moment it's rugby, the next it's ballet. It's a performance art piece, really.
And it looked like Caitlyn Clark has suffered yet another hard foul, and the referees failed to make a call.
And don't even get me started on the challenges. Indiana Fever is out here using challenges like a family with 3 wishes from a cursed genie. Are you sure you want to use this challenge? The basketball gods whisper. Because somehow every time they challenge the most obviously terrible calls, the refs double down like it's poker night. Oh, you thought this was clearly not a foul? Well, guess what? Now it's a technical too. Let's rewind to one of those gems. Caitlyn gets mugged on a drive. Not bumped, not lightly touched. Mugged. Like there should have been a CSI unit dusting for Prince. Coach throws the challenge flag, or however the WNBA does it, and here comes the ref, strutting over to the monitor like they're about to solve the Da Vinci Code. They watch the replay in slow-mo from every angle, maybe call in a Vatican priest for consultation, and then, confirmed. The foul stands. What foul? The only thing fouling here is the logic of whoever thought this call made sense.
I can't believe this is right, but it is right, folks. And I hope we know why Caitlyn Clark got that T now, right? Caitlyn Clark in the preseason, 29 points with 0 free throw attempts. What is happening? Does anybody remember special whistle? They must have a special whistle. Anybody remember that?
The best part? The announcers are sitting there like, well, not sure what they saw there, with the same voice you use when your friend insists on dating their ex again, and you're just trying to be supportive without screaming into a pillow. It's gotten to the point where Caitlyn Clark should start carrying her own whistle. Maybe if she blows it enough times mid-play, the refs will finally start paying attention to what's actually happening on the court instead of playing Mad Libs with the rule book. And yes, she's finally speaking up. And thank God. Because if Caitlyn Clark doesn't say something, then who will? The fans have been losing their minds, the commentators are politely confused, and the refs, they're just vibing, out here making calls based on horoscopes. Oh, Mercury is in retrograde? That's a charge.
His hurdles for Caitlyn Clark and the Indiana Fever last season was the WNBA referees. Now, the front office made it their business to revamp the team, bring in more aggressive players to help them get further in the WNBA season and possibly win a WNBA championship. But before any of that stuff can even get done, we have to take a look at the misguided missile that can destroy everything this upcoming season, and that is the WNBA referee.
You know the officiating is bad when Twitter, ESPN, and your grandma, who only watches her stories, are all screaming about it. Caitlyn gets knocked to the floor with the kind of contact that would legally qualify as vehicular manslaughter, and there's no whistle. But then she touches someone's jersey, and suddenly the refs are on it like it's a SWAT raid. You can practically see the exhaustion on her face, not because of the game itself, but because she's playing basketball on expert mode while the refs are out here throwing banana peels on the court like it's a Mario Kart tournament. She signed up for the WNBA, not an obstacle course of egregious officiating and reverse Uno foul calls. Let's talk about consistency, or, the complete absence of it. One play, a shove is fine. Next play, a sneeze is an offensive foul. It's like a slot machine of infractions. Pull the lever and see what today's rule interpretation is. The refs must be using tarot cards at halftime. The cards say, blocking foul. Maybe gravity just works differently in Indiana. No, sweetie. It's not gravity. It's just 3 blind mice in stripes blowing whistles like they're playing jazz improv.
The Indiana Fever coaching staff just subbed out Caitlyn Clark during the clutch. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. The game was on the line. It was under 30 seconds left, and they subbed her out. Caitlyn Clark was out of the game for a defensive possession.
How do you prepare for a game where you don't even know what's legal anymore? Are you allowed to pivot today? Maybe. Depends on if Venus is in Leo. Can you breathe near an opponent? Better roll a dice. Maybe it's a tech. Maybe it's a promotion to MVP. Who knows? At this point, the team should add ref whisperer to the coaching staff. Someone who just stands courtside with a crystal ball trying to guess what nonsense is coming next. Maybe even train the players to mime injuries for sympathy fouls. Oh no, she flinched. Quick, someone get her an Oscar and a free throw. And let's not ignore how suspiciously disproportionate this all feels. Caitlyn Clark is literally the biggest reason half the country even remembers there's a WNBA season going on. She's pulling in viewership, selling out arenas, dragging the team to relevance with pure charisma and laser threes. And the refs are treating her like she's a rude barista who gave them decaf. It's like they took it personally that she exists. Hey, she's a rookie. She needs to earn the calls. Yeah, cool. Except she's also your league's marketing plan, ratings boost, and human highlight reel. You'd think the refs would at least pretend they read the memo, but nope. They're calling games like they're still salty she got drafted ahead of their imaginary daughter.
There's things to look at, there's the clock, there's where the ball can be taken out. But that's not the only reason the flow of the game was ruined, but we're just standing there, we're waiting and we're waiting and we're waiting. And then obviously, like I said, a lot of free throws shot between both teams tonight. That makes the game more choppy when there's a lot of fouls. Excuse me. But, it's tough when Coach White is put in a position to have to use both her challenges in the first half on calls that were pretty point blank, and then we're left with none there in the second half, which, you know, you can pick and choose. Maybe you save them, maybe you don't, but still, like, every single possession matters. But like I said, it doesn't come down to that. You know, no matter what, if it's a choppy game, we got to find a way to find our flow a little bit better, especially.
The Indiana Fever's coaching staff is running out of dry erase markers from sheer disbelief. They challenge 3 calls in the first half, and all 3 go about as well as arguing with airport security. Sorry, sir, you can clearly see it's not a foul. Yeah, we looked at the footage and we've decided it's somehow worse than a foul. It's a technical and a delay of game. You want to know how broken it is? There was a moment, legit, where Clark literally stops mid-play and laughs in disbelief because the calls were that absurd. That's not just frustration. That's a person reaching a higher level of consciousness. That's the face of someone who's not even mad anymore, just quietly amazed that the refs remembered to put on shoes before coming to the game. And yes, she's tired. We're all tired. We're tired of watching her box score look like a war crime. We're tired of seeing players launch at her like it's dodgeball in gym class with no repercussions. We're tired of refs squinting at instant replay like they're trying to read ancient Sanskrit.
And I'm going to put this loss back on the coaching staff, and I'm going to put it back on them when it comes to the defensive schemes in particular, because I don't know how you just left your players like Aaliyah Boston and like Natasha Howard on an island for the entire game and let these oversized post players go to work on them.
What's the end game here? Let her get injured because no one will call anything? Tank her rookie year because refs are mad she's too good too fast? Are we trying to encourage star players to go silent? Because spoiler alert, that's not how you build a league, that's how you bury one. Maybe it's time for the WNBA to hold a little officiating 101 seminar. First slide, this is a foul. Second slide, still a foul. Third slide, if you can see their dental work on the replay, it's a foul. And then just loop that on a projector for 8 hours. Because right now, it's embarrassing. Caitlyn Clark's talent is being sabotaged by a rotating circus of whistle-happy chaos gremlins who seem personally offended by competence. The league has a golden ticket, and the refs are using it as a napkin. You can tell Clark's hit that breaking point, that look in her eye like she's 2 bad calls away from going full Ron Swanson and building her own basketball league out of wood, sanity, and basic logic, and the fans would follow. Trust me. If she played in a gym lit by candles with unpaid refs from Craigslist who had at least watched a basketball game once, it'd still be better than what we're watching now.
Here, and another case of WNBA referees dropping the ball, not making the right calls when it comes to Caitlyn Clark. Bruh, how we 1 game away for the start of the season, and we have already Caitlyn Clark getting fouled extremely hard. Look back at the referee like, damn, you didn't just see me get annihilated in the head, and the referee, nothing.
So yeah, she's tired. And so are we. Tired of bad calls. Tired of weird vendettas disguised as officiating. Tired of talented women getting dropped on hardwood while the refs debate whether the foul occurred on the 3rd plane of existence. If the WNBA wants to grow, and clearly it does with all the hype, all the energy, all the potential, then maybe, just maybe, someone should send the memo to the folks in stripes, because no one's here for another season of oops, all blunders. Until then, Caitlyn Clark will keep bawling, the fans will keep screaming, and the refs, they'll keep conducting seances at the monitor to figure out if maybe, just maybe, that was a foul, or maybe it was just the wind, or maybe they don't know. Because that's the magic of WNBA officiating right now. It's not a science. It's a lifestyle, an abstract performance, a shared delusion we've all agreed to participate in. And yet somehow, it keeps getting worse. The Indiana Fever aren't just battling other teams. They're in a grudge match with the whistle itself. Every time Caitlyn Clark steps on the court, it feels like she's entering an alternate universe where logic took a vacation and the referees are guided by dreams they had during a NyQuil nap. At this point, the rules don't just bend. They perform full yoga routines.
They need to be investigated ASAP. We see what's happening with Caitlyn Clark. There's no reason you shouldn't be protecting your star player. Because without Caitlyn Clark, there won't be no sold-out arenas. The viewership on TV would not be like it is now, where everybody's watching it because it's must-watch TV.
You'd expect some accountability, or at least a whisper of remorse. But nope, not a word, not a press release, Not even a, "Yeah, we blew that one," muttered into a pillow. Instead, it's silence. As if officiating disasters are just part of the ambiance, like squeaky sneakers or motivational posters on locker room walls. At this rate, Caitlyn's going to need a chiropractor for all the shoulder checks, elbows, and blindside screens the refs refuse to acknowledge. She'll need a second career just to fund the therapy bills from being gaslit on national television. Every bad call chips away at the integrity of the game. And the worst part? Everyone sees it. Fans, players, analysts, rival teams, no one's fooled. And still, Caitlyn endures. She pushes forward, refuses to fold, and plays through the nonsense with the fire of someone who knows she's bigger than the chaos. But don't confuse her restraint for indifference. When she finally speaks, it's with the kind of precision that should make the entire league stop and listen. Because if even she's had enough, then the WNBA better wake up, fast. Because this isn't just about one player, it's about the future of a league standing at the edge of greatness, held back by a whistle wielded by people who still can't tell the difference between contact and clobbering. And if that doesn't change soon, then maybe it's not the players who need to be reviewed. Maybe it's the people in stripes who need to be benched permanently.